Why are you gaining belly fat even though you're eating healthy foods? Why do those organic granola bars and gluten-free crackers seem to make your midsection puffier instead of flatter? And why does it feel like every food marketed as good for you is actually working against your weight loss goals after 40? You're about to discover the shocking truth. Meet Lisa. She's 44. She switched to organic everything. She bought the expensive protein bars, the heart-healthy whole grain cereals, the low-fat yogurts with probiotics. She even started drinking those green smoothies everyone raved about, and yet her belly kept growing. The scale crept up month after month, and her favorite jeans became tighter and tighter. Sound familiar? If this sounds like you, type "betrayed" in the comments. You might be surprised by how many women feel exactly the same. You are not alone, and there is a systematic way forward. If you're a woman over 40, you might be wondering, why do foods labeled as healthy seem to sabotage your weight loss efforts? Why do the same foods that worked for you in your 20s and 30s now seem to stick straight to your belly? Why does it feel like the entire health food industry is lying to you? And the most important question, which healthy foods are actually making your menopausal belly fat worse? Here's the truth. It's not about the calories. It's not about the organic label. And it's definitely not about how much you're spending on these so-called superfoods. This isn't about eating less. It's about eating smarter. Because when you reach your 40s and 50s, your body changes dramatically. Your insulin sensitivity plummets, your cortisol stays elevated longer, your estrogen drops, changing how you store fat, and suddenly, foods that never bothered you before become metabolic disasters. But here's the good news. Once you know which foods to avoid, everything changes. Today, we're counting down the 11 most deceptive healthy foods that are secretly making your menopausal belly fat worse. These aren't obviously bad foods like donuts or soda. These are foods sitting in the health food aisle, foods your doctor might even recommend, foods that seem innocent but are metabolic saboteurs for women over 40. These revelations helped Lisa, and they've helped thousands of other women finally understand why their healthy diet wasn't working. It wasn't their willpower. It wasn't their metabolism being broken. It was these hidden culprits. Stick with me because food number 1, it's probably in your pantry right now, and it's the single biggest reason your belly fat won't budge no matter how clean you think you're eating. But first, let's take a closer look at what's happening inside your body during menopause and why these seemingly innocent foods become fat storage triggers. The 4 key changes that make healthy foods dangerous after 40. Insulin resistance skyrockets. Before menopause, your cells readily accepted glucose from your bloodstream. After 40, they become resistant, meaning even healthy carbs cause massive insulin spikes that drive fat storage directly to your belly. Cortisol becomes chronic. Your stress hormone stops cycling normally and stays elevated. This makes you hypersensitive to blood sugar fluctuations, turning even small amounts of sugar, including natural sugars in healthy foods, into belly fat. Estrogen drops, changing fat storage. Without adequate estrogen, your body preferentially stores fat in your midsection instead of your hips and thighs. Foods that spike insulin become direct contributors to visceral fat accumulation. Liver function slows. Your liver becomes less efficient at processing fructose and other sugars. This means healthy foods high in natural sugars overwhelm your system and get converted straight to belly fat. Before we jump in, just know this: you're not broken, you're not weak-willed, and you're definitely not alone. Your body is just responding differently to foods now, and it's time to learn the new rules. These 11 foods are the biggest rule breakers, the ones that seem helpful but are actually harmful. Let's get started with food number 11. 11. Agave nectar and natural sweeteners. Think you're being healthy by choosing agave over sugar? Agave nectar is up to 90% fructose higher than high fructose corn syrup. For women over 40, this is metabolic poison. Your liver can't process this much fructose efficiently, so it converts it directly to fat and stores it in your belly. Unlike glucose, fructose doesn't trigger satiety hormones, so you stay hungry even after consuming it. It also increases uric acid production, which blocks fat burning and increases inflammation. Other natural sweeteners like coconut sugar, date syrup, and maple syrup hit your system just as hard as regular sugar, spiking insulin and cortisol simultaneously. If you need sweetness, use stevia, monk root, or small amounts of raw honey. But the goal is to retrain your taste buds away from sweetness altogether. 10. Fruit smoothies and fresh juices. What could be healthier than a green smoothie packed with fruits and vegetables? When you blend fruit, you break down the fiber that normally slows sugar absorption. This creates a fructose bomb that hits your bloodstream faster than a candy bar. Even green smoothies with spinach and kale often contain 2-3 servings of fruit, delivering 30-40 grams of of sugar in liquid form. Fresh pressed juices are even worse. A single glass of orange juice contains the sugar equivalent of 4 or 5 oranges without any of the fiber to slow absorption. Your insulin spikes, your cortisol follows, and your body immediately switches to fat storage mode. For women in menopause, liquid sugar is the fastest way to accumulate belly fat, even when it comes from healthy sources. If you want a smoothie, use mostly vegetables, add protein powder, healthy fats like avocado, and limit fruit to a small handful of berries. 9. Kombucha and fermented drinks. Kombucha is marketed as a gut health miracle, but most commercial versions are sugar bombs in disguise. A single bottle of kombucha can contain 12–18 grams of sugar, often from added fruit juices or cane sugar used in the fermentation process. While some sugar is consumed during fermentation, plenty remains to spike your blood sugar. The healthy halo around fermented drinks makes women think they can drink them freely, but for menopausal women with compromised insulin sensitivity, these drinks can trigger the same fat storage response as soda. Many kombucha brands also add artificial flavors, preservatives, and additional sugars after fermentation to improve taste and shelf life. What started as a potentially beneficial fermented tea becomes a processed beverage that disrupts blood sugar balance. The small amount of probiotics in commercial kombucha doesn't offset the metabolic damage from the sugar content, especially when your liver is already struggling to process fructose efficiently. If you want the benefits of fermentation, try unsweetened kefir, sauerkraut juice, or make your own kombucha with minimal sugar. Better yet, focus on getting probiotics from whole food sources like plain Greek yogurt or fermented vegetables. 8. Granola and healthy cereals. That organic gluten-free granola seems like the perfect healthy breakfast, right? Most granolas contain 12–20 grams of sugar per serving, plus refined oils that increase inflammation. Even the low-sugar versions are loaded with dates, honey, or maple syrup, all of which spike your blood sugar just as much as regular sugar. The oats in granola have a high glycemic index, meaning they convert to glucose rapidly. Combined with the added sugars, you're getting a double insulin hit that signals your body to store fat, especially around your midsection. Healthy cereals like bran flakes, whole grain options, and even some protein cereals are often worse than regular cereal when it comes to blood sugar impact. Start your day with protein and healthy fats instead. Eggs, avocado, nuts, or Greek yogurt with a small amount of berries will keep your blood sugar stable and your fat-burning hormones active. 7. Low-fat and fat-free dairy products. For decades, we've been told that low-fat dairy is healthier. For menopausal women, it's a belly fat trap. When manufacturers remove fat from dairy, they add sugar, corn syrup, or artificial sweeteners to maintain taste. Low-fat yogurt often contains 15–25 grams of sugar per serving, more than ice cream. Fat is crucial for hormone production and satiety. Without it, you'll eat more and crave sugar within hours. The protein in low-fat dairy also gets absorbed too quickly without fat to slow it down, causing insulin spikes. Fat-free dairy products are even worse, often containing thickeners, stabilizers, and hidden sugars that disrupt gut health and increase inflammation. Choose full-fat organic dairy products. The fat will help you feel satisfied, support hormone production, and prevent the blood sugar roller coaster that leads to belly fat storage. 6. Plant-based milk alternatives. Almond milk, oat milk, and other plant-based alternatives seem like healthy choices, but they're often metabolic nightmares for women over 40. Oat milk is particularly problematic because it's essentially liquid oats' pure carbohydrates that spike blood sugar faster than drinking a soda. A single cup of oat milk contains 16–19 grams of carbohydrates that convert rapidly to glucose, triggering massive insulin release. Most commercial plant milks are loaded with added sugars. Even the unsweetened versions often contain natural sugars from the base ingredients. Rice milk and coconut milk beverages frequently have added cane sugar or other sweeteners. These milk alternatives also contain emulsifiers, stabilizers, and thickening agents like carrageenan that can disrupt gut health and increase inflammation. Poor gut health directly impacts your ability to lose weight and maintain stable blood sugar. The protein content in most plant milks is minimal compared to dairy, so you're getting liquid carbohydrates without the satiety benefits of protein or fat. This leads to blood sugar spikes followed by crashes that trigger cravings and overeating. Many women switch to plant milks thinking they're being healthier, but end up consuming more sugar and inflammatory ingredients than if they'd stuck with full-fat dairy or made their own unsweetened versions at home. If you prefer plant-based options, make your own almond milk with just almonds and water, or choose unsweetened versions with minimal ingredients. Better yet, use small amounts and focus Focus on getting your nutrients from whole foods. 5. Whole grain breads and wraps. Whole grain sounds healthy, but for women over 40, it's often a metabolic disaster. Modern wheat has been hybridized to contain much higher levels of amylopectin A, a starch that raises blood sugar faster than table sugar. Even healthy whole grain breads can spike your glucose higher than a candy bar. Whole grain wraps, pita breads, and crackers are often worse because they're processed into fine particles that digest rapidly. The whole grain label is misleading. These products still cause massive insulin spikes. Many whole grain products also contain gluten, which can increase intestinal permeability and inflammation in sensitive individuals, making weight loss even harder. The fiber in whole grains isn't enough to offset the blood sugar impact, especially when your insulin sensitivity is already compromised by menopause. Replace grain-based foods with vegetables. Use lettuce wraps instead of tortillas, cauliflower rice instead of regular rice, and zucchini noodles instead of pasta. Before we continue, if you are enjoying this video, give it a like. It tells YouTube to recommend it with more women. Subscribe or share with your friends that might need it. 4. Protein bars and health bars. That protein bar seems like the perfect healthy snack, but it's probably sabotaging your weight loss. Most protein bars contain 15-30 grams of sugar from dates, brown rice syrup, or other natural sweeteners. They're essentially candy bars with added protein powder. The sugar content often exceeds the protein content. Many bars also contain inflammatory oils like soybean oil or canola oil, plus artificial ingredients that disrupt gut health. The combination of sugar and processed ingredients creates the perfect storm for belly fat accumulation. Even keto or low-carb bars often contain sugar alcohols that can cause digestive issues and still impact blood sugar in sensitive individuals. The protein in these bars is usually low quality and highly processed, lacking the amino acid profile your body needs for muscle maintenance and fat burning. Make your own protein snacks with real food: hard-boiled eggs, nuts, cheese, or a small piece of wild salmon. Your body will thank you with better energy and less belly fat. 3. Dried fruits and trail mix. Dried fruit seems like nature's candy, and that's exactly the problem. When fruit is dried, the water is removed, but all the sugar remains concentrated. A small handful of dried dates contains as much sugar as a candy bar. Dried cranberries, raisins, and banana chips are sugar bombs disguised as health food. Trail mix combines this concentrated fruit sugar with nuts, which seems balanced, but the sugar overwhelms any benefits from the healthy fats and protein in the nuts. Most commercial trail mixes also add chocolate chips or yogurt-covered pieces, making them even worse. The lack of water and fiber in dried fruits means the sugar hits your bloodstream rapidly, causing the same insulin spike as eating candy. For women in menopause, this rapid sugar absorption is particularly problematic because your already compromised insulin sensitivity can't handle the glucose load. If you want fruit, eat it fresh and pair it with protein or fat to slow absorption. A few berries with nuts or an apple with almond butter is infinitely better than dried fruit. 2. Vegetable oils and heart-healthy spreads. You've been told these oils are good for your heart, but they're terrible for your waistline. Vegetable oils like soybean, corn, canola, and sunflower oil are highly processed and inflammatory. They're loaded with omega-6 fatty acids that promote inflammation and interfere with fat burning. These oils are hidden in almost every processed food, including healthy options like whole grain crackers, granola bars, and salad dressings. They're also used in most restaurant cooking. Heart-healthy spreads and margarine are even worse, containing trans fats or highly processed oils that disrupt hormone production and increase belly fat storage. Chronic inflammation from these oils makes insulin resistance worse and interferes with leptin, the hormone that tells your brain you're full. This leads to overeating and preferential fat storage in your midsection. Use olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, or grass-fed butter instead. These natural fats support hormone production, reduce inflammation, and actually help your body burn fat more efficiently. 1. Oatmeal and heart-healthy whole grains. You've made it to the end of the list, and it's no accident this food group comes last. Sometimes the most recommended foods turn out to be the ones sabotaging your goals the most. That's exactly what happens with oatmeal and whole grains, especially for women over 40. Oatmeal has a glycemic index of 55-79, meaning it raises blood sugar almost as much as white bread. Even steel-cut oats, which digest slightly slower, still cause significant insulin spikes in menopausal women with compromised insulin sensitivity. The problem gets worse when you add healthy toppings like fruit, honey, or maple syrup. What seems like a nutritious breakfast becomes a sugar bomb that triggers fat storage for hours. Quinoa, brown brown rice, and other healthy whole grains have similar effects. They're all high in carbohydrates that convert to glucose, overwhelming your already struggling insulin system. The fiber in these grains isn't enough to offset the blood sugar impact, especially when your metabolism has shifted due to hormonal changes. What worked in your 20s and 30s becomes a belly fat trigger in your 40s and beyond. But when you finally eliminate these grain-based foods and replace them with protein and healthy fats for breakfast eggs, avocado, nuts, or Greek yogurt, things begin to shift. Your energy stabilizes. Your cravings disappear. That persistent belly bloat, it finally starts to flatten. If you've made it this far, congratulations. These foods aren't evil. They're just wrong for your body right now. Understanding this isn't about restriction, it's about liberation from foods that were working against you. Start small. Remove one food. Notice how your body responds. Let the change build from there. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. It tells YouTube to share it with more women who need this message. Subscribe for weekly videos on menopause, nutrition, hormone balance, and smart strategies to feel like yourself again, strong, clear, and in control. And comment below, which of these 11 foods surprised you the most? Now that you know what to avoid, you're probably wondering what you should eat instead. Make sure to check out my video, 20 Foods That Melt Belly Fat Like Crazy, where I share the specific foods that actually support fat burning and hormone balance for women over 40. You've got this, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way.